Okay. So again, I'd just like to review the Mishnayos we saw yesterday, and then maybe we'll see a few more Mishnayos. So in Brachos, Perek Aleph, Mishna Beis, the Mishnah now is talking about when you say Krias Shema in the morning. The Mishnah says, when do you begin saying Shema in the morning? From when there's enough light outside that you can tell the difference between blue and white. That's the first opinion. Eliezer says between blue and green. The Goimra and the end time is ad netzachama, until sunrise. So this Tana holds that the time for Krias Shema is the time when the majority of people are waking up, which is in the morning when it starts getting light. By the time the sun comes up, most people are up. Yeshua says you have more time, you can go till a quarter of the day. Because the princes that don't have anything to do, they sleep late in the morning, they'll sleep, so there are people that are not getting up till then. So he says that the time for Krias Shema extends till the third hour of the day. If you read from then and on, you don't lose out completely. You still, the Gemara says, you could still make the brachos, and you still get some reward for learning, but you don't get the greater reward you would get for saying Krias Shema in its proper time. Fine. Then in Mishnah Gimel, we discuss the position one's supposed to be in for Krias Shema. Beis Shammai say, Be'erev, in the evening, Kol Adam Yatav Yikra, everyone should lie down to say Krias Shema. Uba Baiker, in the morning, Yamoi, they should stand up. Shenema, because the pasuk says, B'shachtacha v'kumecha, you should say Krias Shema when you lie down and when you get up. So you should lie down in the evening to say Krias Shema and stand up in the morning to say it. Beis Hillel say no. Kol Adam Kairi Kedarki, you read in whatever position you happen to find yourself in at the time of Shema. Shenema, the pasuk says, Ubelechtacha v'derech, when you're going on the way, however you happen to be, that's how you say Krias Shema. Okay, so Imkein Lamanem B'shachtacha v'kumecha. So what are they going to do with Beis Shammai's pasuk? That's telling you B'shash b'nei adam sheichvin and B'shash b'nei adam ein. It's the time when people go to sleep and the time when people get up. That's how we know that Krias Shema is a morning and night thing. Reb Tarfon. So Reb Tarfon said, Ani hisi ba b'derech. It was one time I was traveling. V'hitesi, and I laid down likrois in order to say Krias Shema k'dever Beis Shammai, to do what Beis Shammai did, which he thought would be appropriate because Beis Hillel agrees, so there's no reason not to. V'sakanti be'atzmi, and I ended up putting myself in danger because there were thieves going on. And Amrulo, the rabbi said to him, Kedahi slacha ba'atzmacha shavart al dever Beis Hillel, that you see from what happened to you that was not an appropriate thing to do, that you should do like Beis Hillel. There's no reason to go stringently like Beis Shammai, constantly like Beis Hillel. Beis Shammai's opinion is not one we reckon with.
You should live by the Torah and not die by the Torah.
Okay. Mishna Dalet. B'shachar. So now we're going on to the brachos of Krias Shema. B'shachar, in the morning, mevarach shnayim lefaneha v'achas lacharel. We have two brachos before Krias Shema and one bracha after. Ube'erev, and in the evening, shnayim lefaneha v'shnayim lacharel. There are two brachos before Krias Shema, two brachos after Krias Shema. Then we have some words over here that are not exactly clear what they're going on. Achas arucha v'achas kitzara. So of the two, one's a long bracha and one's a short bracha. So some of the Mefarshim say it's going on the two brachas before Shema, that the first bracha is a longer bracha, the second bracha is a shorter bracha, meaning that they start and end with a Baruch Atah Hashem. Rashi and Tosos learn it's going on the two brachas after Krias Shema by Mariv. Rashi seems to be learning that just the first bracha is longer, is more words, and the second bracha is shorter. Tosos doesn't really like that because even the second bracha is not short. Right? A short bracha is Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvarai. Hashkivenu, as much as it's not as long as Emes V'Emunit, it is a longer bracha, Therefore, Tosfos reads the words achas rucha v'achas kitsara as whether. Whether you make it long or short, here you have the option of doing either way, and then the Mishnah would then be a contrast. Makom shamu laharich, in a place where the Rabbanan said to say a longer bracha, eina rishai lekatzer, you're not allowed to shorten the bracha. Lekatzer, if they said to say a shorter bracha, eina rishai laharich, you're not allowed to lengthen the bracha. Lachtaim, if they said to end the bracha with another Baruch Atah Hashem, then you can't drop it and just start the bracha with the baruch. If they said not to end with the baruch, so again the difference between laharich and lachtam would be if they say to say a longer text. Right? Sometimes we have brachas like the first bracha of benching, where you have a baruch in the beginning and a baruch at the end. Sometimes you have brachas like the second bracha of benching, where there's no baruch in the beginning, there's only a baruch at the end. So whichever way the rabbis set it up, you can't change that. You have to leave it with the setup that it comes with. Okay. And finally, Mishna Hey, Mazkirin Yetzias Mitzrayim b'leilos. We find that we mention the fact that we left Mitzrayim every night. Amar Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah says, Harei keben shivim shana. I'm 70 years old. So you say that means he looked old because he had been appointed the nasi, the leader, at the young age of 18, and since people wouldn't really respect necessarily someone who looked so young, so a miracle happened and his beard turned white. So that's why he always says, I'm like 70 years old. He wasn't actually 70 years old, but he's indicating that clearly he has some merit that made him get this. And still, and I didn't merit Yetzias Mitzrayim b'leilos, that everyone else would agree to me that you're supposed to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim every night. Ad darsha Ben Zoma, until Ben Zoma came along and said a derasha, and this derasha I was able to convince everybody with. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, Laman tizkar es yem tzeis me eretz Mitzrayim, kol yemei chayecha. The pasuk says, in order that you remember the day that you left Egypt, all the days of your life. So Ben Zoma explained that yemei chayecha, if we could have just said the days of your life, that would mean hayam, that would mean every day. Kol yemei chayecha, the extra word kol of all, that's halelos, that's coming to include the nights. The Chachamim and the Chachamim disagree with Ben Zoma, and they say no, yemei chayecha ha'ilam hazeh, that yemei chayecha means in this world, kol yemei chayecha l'havi yemei Mashiach is coming to include even after Mashiach comes, that we will still mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, and they just speak out that even though the Chum have a response over here that kol refers not to nights but to time in the future, but the pasuk reads better like Ben Zoma. So with this explanation of the pasuk, Ben Azai was able to convince everybody that we should mention the Exodus every night. Okay, that's the end of the first Perek of Brachos. The general theme of here is the auxiliary parts of Krias Shema. The time, the Brachos. Hopefully tomorrow we'll go to the second Perek, which talks more about the actual recital of the Shema itself.